shiga gaba. Pilas ta shiga gaba. Karshen tika ya zama tik. Abba.
Adam Musa, number 40 jersey of Kano Pillars, heading in a cross.
What a way to welcome you on the show. 360 Sport on Trust TV. I'm Adini Jishafe. Just to look at that game there. Kano Pillars down. Eyimba International in that particular in Canada took place at Sunabasha Stadium in Kano City. Well, we look at those stories in the world of sport. It's always juicy when we talk sport here, and we look at those stories right now. We start with Archery sport. We have some Nigerians who actually traveled to Tunisia, and they were able to win silver and also bronze for Nigeria. 13th African Archery Championship, Team Nigeria wins silver, 2 bronze in Abul, Tunisia. Congrats to that team and also to Nigeria for the fact that they were able to at least conquer, for the fact that they were on the podium to receive silver and 2 bronze medal in this particular sport. You just not know much about archery, but right now some Nigerians are doing well and also prospering in it. Archery, you can see the man standing there holding that particular arrow to shoot. That is the sport called archery, and we congratulate those Nigerians that did well over there in Nabo. Let's look at the list of those Nigerians that actually did us proud in Tunisia, where they actually went to participate in that particular competition. There we have Eyenihi Larai Oyeleke Emmanuel, and also Sholademi Bartholomew. Also we have Olasende Olawale. The 4 of them, the duo for Nigeria archery team to 13th African Archery Championship in Tunisia. Congrats to them, even though according to Oyeleke Emmanuel, he said they really had to struggle for fun before they could travel to Tunisia. It was a tough one for them, but at last they were able to be on the podium, getting silver and also winning bronze in that competition. They did well in both the women and also the mixed category of archery sport. So it's not everyone that will do football, no, at least maybe athletics or badminton, but some are right now doing archery sport, and we are happy for the fact that they went to Tunisia. They were able to win all these medals that we mentioned. Joining us right now from Lokoja, Kogi State is Ahmad Emmanuel. Ahmad, are you there?
Good morning to you, and good morning to the viewers as well.
Okay, good one. Good to join us on the show, Ahmad. We're talking about archery. We have some Nigerians that traveled to Tunisia, and they were able to come back with silver and also bronze medal. Well, this sport is not so popular in Nigeria, but it's really gaining momentum because we have some Nigerians that were able to compete. And looking at the fact that that sport is very popular in the North African side, but still we have this Nigerian doing us proud there. What would you say about this? That's at least a good omen. That's some sport that we may not really give big name are really thriving.
But let me start by commending you, because it's not every sports journalist or broadcast journalist that will talk about sport that are not too popular, right? So I say well done, kiddos, and of course keep your as well. However, I must tell you now, most sports reporters are hearing sport for the first time in their life. Nobody even know anything about archery. I mean, how is it the rules guiding it? I don't think anybody, really know much about it. So you bringing it up and of course trashing it and treating it, very well on air, I say it is. Now, it reminds me of the days where we have hunters. There are some ancient cities where, when you go historical, what they do is hunting. And when you look at, some of the statues that they used to probably immortalize some of the great hunters, you see something like these, okay? So I think in virtually every sport that you see, maybe in the dark days, somebody had actually raised that idea. It's just that we'll try to modernize it. So if we have people now coming around to do this game, archery, and of course, going as far as, beating all of the, barriers or probably the obstacles and still come back home with something remarkable, well, I think the government or probably stakeholders should now look towards their own direction. Now, people like this, maybe they can still go further. They can also inspire a lot of people to go into this sport. And before you know, this sport becomes very, very popular. And before you know, it becomes very money spinning, to those that are doing it. Trust me, not too many people know that apart from football, you have a lot of money in basketball, in golf, in rugby, all right? But crazy about football here, of course, we just think everything about sport. When you talk about sport, a lot of people say, well, the first thing that comes to their mind is football. That thinking, that orientation needs to change, okay? When you go to the United States of America, for example, before you talk about football or soccer, then you talk about basketball, okay? There's no way you can change that. And of course, they're doing everything to keep that status very high. I mean, the standard is pretty high. Look at the NBA, for example. I mean, if you have a basketballer playing in the NBA, you know what it is. So I say kudos to those that have actually deemed it fit to do this sport, and also, fly the flag of the country, and also making us proud in a way. So I think, personally, I will say well done and congratulations to them. Of course, for the challenges, well, if you don't overcome challenges, you won't be a champion. You won't be stronger. So it shows that they have that spirit of, a champion. The commitment was top notch. Determination was, something else. And now they are here giving us a story. So we really like it. And we hope that it can only get better. But trust me, somebody somewhere needs to come up and probably invest in this sport. And it's going to really help a lot of youth, trust me.
Seriously, hunting, if you can look at that particular sport of archery, it seems to come from hunting, and it's going to be one of the oldest sports. If you are going to find the true history, Nigerians win us proud there in Tunisia. They were able to win silver and also bronze medals in different categories of that particular competition. Congrats to them, and we hope, just like Ahmad said, that individuals or private organizations will actually key into different sports in Nigeria. Not every time football, we should actually at least divert our attention into other sports. Not everybody will play soccer. Well, we are looking at that particular sport, and we look at one of the athletes there saying it took them a lot of time before they could raise funds for that competition, for them to travel. And if you look at it, it's always very easy with football to get funds. Why is it always very difficult for other sports to get that particular support that they deserve? Really, not everyone will play football. So we don't expect all the old Nigerians to focus on football. Some people go into badminton, into hockey, to taekwondo, or even judo. Now, these ones decide to go on with archery, and really, they are doing us proud. They got silver, they got bronze medal, even in women category, and we just have to appreciate what they are doing. Well, from the way it is, Ahmad, what do you think we can do to at least maybe get a lot of support for other sports to get funds?
I think much of the work lies in our hands. When I mean our hands, journalists, even though the way they appreciate us is a little bit poor. I'm sorry, I have to just say this. We still have to do more. Like you're doing now, not too many people want to do what you're doing. Most of our colleagues are really interested in what will come quick, right? So, but when we put in everything to promote something like this, people get to know more about it. You sensitize people, you tell them what this sport is all about, what the easiest part of it, you let them know, attract them. Like people will get to know more about it and they'll fall in love with it with time. So I think bunch of the work really lies in the hands of, sports journalists, or let me say media generally. So we need to start thinking, how can we promote something that people really don't know about? Before you wake up and talk about a particular team in England or Germany or Spain or even France, why a lot of people already have the information, right in their cell phone. Okay, so let's begin to think about, okay, fine, how can we push information that people are really not really having, access to? Let's push it out to them. So then you surely get somebody who's going to be interested. Then there and there you're going to get stakeholders or sponsors that will do the need for before before we hit the limelight. So I think we need to do more, and of course let's hope that our reward will not be in heaven. It's going to be here.
Well, seriously, that means a lot of promotions there for archery, sport, and also other sports. We have so many sports that Nigerians are doing that are not known at all. So that's a big call to the media personnel out there to make sure they always promote other sports, not only football. Not everyone will actually play soccer. Well, good one, Ahmad Emmanuel. Now let's cross over from talking archery, and now we talk about football. But this time around, women football will be starting today in Ekiti State at a local stadium there in Ekiti State, where Ekiti Queen Queens versus Delta Queens will be heralding the league season in Ado-Ekiti. Well, big one there. The ladies are back to action. It's going to be an abridged league, but at least we've been waiting for this to happen. Finally, is here. So the leagues are the ladies, Ekiti Queens versus Delta Queens. Let's look at this together. Ekiti Queens versus Delta. On paper, as they say, you want to give it to Delta, but football can be very, very unpredictable. Do you see Ekiti at least doing a big job, at least beating Delta Queens this afternoon?
Well, most definitely giving it to Delta Queens will probably be, a lot of people will say, yes, you'll be correct to say that. That's on paper. But football is never mathematics where you just add 1 to 1 and then you get 2, okay? However, you can't take away the quality of Delta Queens FC, trust me. They were unbeaten last season, remember, and of course, they are champions at the end of the day after the, Super 6 tourney right there, in Asaba, Delta State. Now, the opening match will be against a team that actually came into the NWFL Premiership via white card. They came alongside Sunshine FC of Archery. And now they will have a very, very big game in their hands today. Yes, they'll be playing at home. Will that really favor them? I cannot say. If everything is fair enough, I mean, if the officiating is okay, if the the fans are not really troublesome, but there's no friends anywhere, allow the game to flow. Or however, I won't say there's no quality in the Ekiti Queens FC side. Well, they have quality as well because actually I follow their progress as well. In the last preseason tourney hosted by Betsy in Edo State, and of course they did well. However, one would say that was a preseason, and of course, it's a way of testing the team, also know the strengths and weaknesses. However, coming to the competition proper, talking about the league, that's going to be kicking off today. It's going to be a big one, trust me, But then, by and large, I want to say women football has actually grown over the years. I mean, trust me, it has produced top-notch players. All of the female footballers, except from those that are just joining, from other part of the world, probably tracing their roots back to the country. This league has actually produced top-notch footballers. You can just name them. The list is endless. Asisa, the Ajipades, just name them. Okay, so today I hope to see the best of women football right there at the Olukayode Stadium in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. But trust me, I won't be surprised if Delta Queens FC starts the journey on a high. However, the coach, talking about Tosin, has come out to say that it's not going to be easy because, quite a lot of players from his team at the national team, some are injured. So he's actually allaying some fears that it might not be easy. But then at the end of the day, we want to see the best of football. We want to see free flow football that will actually excite the fans. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. But trust me, I'm still going to give it to Delta Queens FC.
Well, you're still tilting towards Delta Queens. A lot of people actually tilt towards that particular team. They've been fantastic when it comes to playing football in Nigeria. Talking about women football, the NWFL, Nigerian Women Football League, is back and it will be starting today. Ekiti Queens versus Delta Queens. We'll look at the stadium in Ado-Ekiti, the place to be. And to let you know, it's not only the NPFL that will be getting televised. The women football too, they got that particular opportunity to have that particular partner that will be broadcasting their own matches too. Wow, that's a good one. At least so we have to see women football on TV. Well, just to give you updates concerning that there, and now let's move away from Ekiti there. Let's talk about our men. That's the Super Eagles. Well, they'll be playing against Lesotho and Zimbabwe in the World Cup qualifier 2026 World Cup. But right now, we look at those that are in camp. Omeruo, Umar, Collins arrived camp in Uyo for 2026 qualifiers there. Well, for those in camp, we have Kenneth Omeruo, Kelechi Anacho, Francis Uzoho, Man Sadiq, Olonleke Ojo, and Jamilu Collins so far that arrived over there in Uyo to let you have a feel of those players there. But right now, looking at the fact that this team, Super Eagles, they'll be playing against Lesotho. That's in Uyo, and then some days later they will go to Rwanda to play against Zimbabwe. From the way it is, let's look at the list that was released by Coach Pizarro. Although we'll be talking about the goalkeeper department later, but right now let's talk about this particular squad. Right now, if we look at this squad, forward, Ahmad. Why do we always have 4 midfielders? A lot of Nigerians are beginning to raise eyebrows here. What's happening? Why is it always 4 midfielders, a lot of forward, a lot of defenders? After all, we can't use all of them. We can only use 3, and at the back also maybe 4 thereabout. Why is it always 4? Because if anything happens to a player or 2, then we are out. That's a problem. Rafael Onyedika, Joe Aribo, Frank Oyenka, Alex Iwobi. We know that Wilfred Ndidi is not available for now, but it's always a big deal when you look at it. Recently, for the past almost a year or 2, there will always be 4 midfielders at the middle there. What do you think happens to this particular selection style that will now adopt?
Yes, I think I raised similar question in one of the platforms. I don't want to mention the name. And the argument was that, well, I would play 4-4-2 formation. And I was like, are you serious? Do we really have a formation? The Super Eagles that I know, we operate from the flank, right? And of course, we switch and then, swap and then allow the attackers to finish up the job. So, I mean, honestly, it's one of the, tactical decisions that I've always questioned myself, having 4 midfielders, I still don't get it, okay? And sometimes we will still struggle to get goals, So maybe the coach is probably building something that we do not know until he probably unveils it and give us results. Maybe, we may be wrong for now, but if this is not really giving us something that we really want to see, then there's need for us to ask more questions, okay? Tactically, maybe he wants to probably load the midfield and ensure that the attackers are getting the balls to strike, get goals. Maybe this is what I think. However, but then again, the risk, like you said, is that if we have 1 or 2 players going out, then there's going to be a problem. That midfield will collapse, okay? If you want to deploy the tactics of maybe Pep Guardiola or probably an FC Barca style of, going with the formation, you understand that even sometimes they always collapse defensively, because when you overrun them in the middle of the park, then the other department is going to have problem, okay? Except if maybe by chance you roll the ball through to a very good attackers, maybe probably back in the days when they have the best of, finishers like Lionel Messi, then they get the goals. So if we do not have that quality and then we'll still deploy similar tactics, then there's need for us to ask quite a lot of questions. Having said that much, I think that this bunch of players that we have right now needs to actually raise their game. When I mean raise their game, there's too many expectations from them. And a lot of people are beginning to think that they can go and conquer Africa. However, football is no longer played, by name. Okay, names don't play football anymore. So if you have a Lesotho coming around and you think you're going to overrun them, I'm sorry, they also have their plan. And if they probably get the better of their opponent, talking about our team, then they get the result. There's nothing you can do about it. Remember, the pain of we not going to the last World Cup is still lingering. Remember how we lost right there when you have the stadium packed up, all right? So Ghana, that was probably not informed. So we need to start on a very serious note and start getting results. Don't underrate any opponent. Go all out. If you get males, treat them like minnows. Get goals, like 10 goals, no problem. So this is exactly what I think. And I hope that the Super Eagles, like we're saying right now, will really understand that, the country is really expecting much from them. The World Cup qualifiers, the AFCON proper, quite a lot of people are hopeful that they can go and deliver. If you check the attack right now, we have the best of attackers, arguably. So I think we want to see what Pesero will come out with in terms of this formation. And probably if he start getting results, then we'll applaud him. But if he's not getting it, we will criticize it.
Well, we're waiting to see what Pesero will be doing there. Coming from Ahmad Emmanuel, who is joining us from local Jakoge State. And while we're still talking about the Super Eagles, we look at this particular story. We actually rolled earlier the list of Eagles invited, but right now that list has been at least tossed because the goalkeeper, Maduka Okoye, has opted out of this particular match. We look at that story. That's 2023 World Cup qualifier, Bende Insurance goalie Obasoge replaces Maduka Okoye. Okoye opting out of this match. And now we have Obasoge, who will be the one to man to actually take his place there. Although we don't know who the coach will be putting. Will it be Uzoho or Lauren Leke or even the Obasoge himself? But right now, Ahmad Emmanuel, Obasoge right now is taking the place of Maduka Okoye. Okoye opting out, although the reason of that particular option to leave Eagles for this particular match against Lesotho and Zimbabwe was not stated.
Of course, I think it's a personal reason, and psychologically, I will predict that he understands the pressure that is back home, because they've not really been delivering. That is just the truth, And for Uzo coming again, I don't know. It raises a lot of question marks. Trust me, because I still begin to think if we do not have the best of goalkeepers in the country. I mean, if probably a bunch of the players are coming from Europe and you have a particular department that is not really, functioning well like we expect, then look back home, okay? If you're not getting defenders, midfielders, or even attackers from our domestic league, then check the goalkeeping department. We have top-notch goalkeepers, trust me, in the NWFL. Nobody can argue that, okay? A good example is the Bender Insurance Services goalie that has just been invited. Also, our Sporting Lagos goalkeeper, Christian, who is doing very well as well. Same as Remo Stars FC goalie. So you can name them, okay? Give them the opportunity, not just inviting them to make up the numbers. This is not what we want. This guy now will be happy that, okay, he has got an invitation to go to the camp of the Super Eagles. And when he gets there, in match day, you see him sitting down on the bench. You see the similar case, playing out, against Ojo Oroleke. He's not just being invited to the senior national team. If at the end of the day, probably after all of this scenario, probably you take them to AFCON and they win the trophy. They will win the trophy without testing action. I mean, what is happening? Give these goalkeepers the chance to mark down goalposts. Give impose confidence in them. But you begin to use a goalkeeper that will flop and people begin to get angry, complain, say a whole lot of things, and still nothing is happening, no changes. Then we'll ask what is happening. What exactly is going on with the NFF and probably the technical crew of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So I think it's not just by inviting him, give him the chance to also show what is good at the national level. If he really impresses you, fine, let him take that number 1 jersey. There's no crime in it. Look at the days of Vincent Nyama, who saw how he came up. Kudos to Onibide, who actually introduces him and also gave him confidence to do the best. I saw what he did against England in the Korea-Japan 2002 World Cup. That was how he became something else and then mounted the goalpost for us for so many years before actually got it quit. So I think it's time for us to start thinking about challenging other goalkeepers. Like, if you're not up and doing, if you concede a goal or two, you're going to sit on the bench in the next game. And that's the style of late Yemi Taylor. We call him the coaching coach. So he tells you, if you concede a goal or two, I'm going to keep you on the bench. The next person will come and probably do better than you. Then the person takes over the jersey. So this is exactly what I want to see in that department, talking about the goalkeeping department of Super Eagles.
Well, a big one there coming from Emmanuel. Really, we need to do something concerning Super Eagles. That's the goalkeeping department, because right now Uzo seems not to be having his confidence, and we keep inviting him. We just have to take the bold step by getting someone that could do it. No matter what happened, he cited the issue of Vincent Nyama that was given a chance, and he was able to man that position. So if it's a Basel game, it's a Lone Lake, let's just put them, not put a seniority or about playing abroad. What matters most is doing the business of keeping well for Nigeria. Well, Ahmad Emmanuel, I want to appreciate your time with us on the show. We really appreciate for the fact that you've given us those analysis there concerning those stories that we actually roll on the show. Thank you so much, Ahmad Emmanuel.
My pleasure is always mine. Thanks for having me.
Yes, before we wrap it up, we look at two transfer stories that have to do with Victor Osimhen. Mikel Obi wants Victor Osimhen to join Chelsea. That's the story quickly. Looking at that particular story there, Mikel Obi wants Victor Osimhen in Chelsea. Well, according to him, he wants him to move to Chelsea because of the fact that he's having some attributes of Didier Drogba in him. Well, we wait to see, will Chelsea get him, or is he going to go to another club? We wait to see what's going to be happening concerning Victor Osimhen. The last one says Tottenham Hotspur, Richarlison and Manchester United Jadon Sancho are January targets for Saudi League. Saudi League are already looking at these two players to get them to sign for them over there at the Saudi Pro League. And everything goes well, it's possible that Jadon Sancho could be moving alongside Richarlison to move to Saudi Arabia, even though Juventus are also showing interest in the player. Talking about Jadon Sancho there. That will be it on 360 Sports. We will always tell you that sport is business and fitness. I'm Adini.